If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, you can for $1 a month over on Patreon. Thank you. Moving on to the biggest news. There's been a trademark, and trademarks are always a good hint of what's to come in the future. And the trademark was for Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, supposedly replacing Rangers now.
Yeah, Rangers was the rumored name because it comes from one guy who has been right a couple of times before when it comes to certain leaks of Sonic the Hedgehog games. So everyone took his with a bit of a grain of salt, but kind of more reliable than what you get from frickin' 4chan.
Yeah, which again, that's always a dangerous thing when you go into that area about rumors.
Yeah. So Sonic Rangers is still not off the table because this is a trademark of Sonic Frontiers. Nothing has been officially confirmed that this is Sonic 2022.
No, I mean, people have said before that Forces was originally under the name Wars, so it is, for all we know, they probably just put the trademark in there just to say they own the name, regardless of what the game's going to be called.
Yeah, according to Sonic Stadium, in the past, Sonic Unleashed, Colors, and Lost World, for example, had their trademarks registered and leaked, not before each were announced back in the day. So, and here's the thing, though. Do you know when this trademark was actually established?
Go on, I think I know, but tell the audience.
October 22nd. We're slow.
Yeah, well, to be fair, yeah, a lot of people did miss this under the wire.
Yeah, this is like the most secretive they've been for a long time with Sonic.
Aye.
Because wasn't it like it was rumored that Sonic Adventure 2 was going to get a HD port on the PS3 and 360, and they had to do like a week later to announce it at an event, saying one of the most kept secrets in the Sonic fandom. It's like yeah, right.
Yeah, right. I mean, come on, guys. We've seen leaks all over the place with this series. So the fact that this has come out and we're only starting to talk about it. That's something.
Yeah. At this point, like, give us, I don't know, maybe on my birthday they'll actually release a freaking bigger announcement for the Frontiers coming out. But again, I still stand by that this is not officially confirmed to be the next game. It's still just a trademark. It could be a completely new game.
But then again,
it sounds like a mobile game to me.
I mean, yeah, there is a possibility it could be that. I was going to say, I mean, would you prefer this over Rangers, though? If this was the title.
I would prefer it over Rangers. Yeah, Sonic Rangers sounds more like the Power Rangers to me. Cause
yeah, I was going to say you're not going to get rid of the Power Rangers association out of that with.
This actually sounds like the more open world aspect they were going for. Sonic Rangers sounds more like Sonic Heroes or Sonic Bosses.
But either way, it still gives off the hint of exploring huge areas, or at least maybe more than one character doing it.
Yeah, apparently I think a lot of people that own some royalties because there are some fan logos existing before this trademark was even released.
I was going to say, I mean, have you seen any of them, and what's your qualification, Mr. Logo Man?
Well, look pretty good. You probably see it on the thumbnail of this video.
Okay.
But yeah, it still sounds so much like I've said this in a live stream a couple of days ago, and it could be like an RTS game like Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh god, I mean, if they want to go down that route.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. I mean, Sonic has appeared in RTS games before, like Sega Heroes was like puzzle RTS in a sense. He's appeared in other RTS games as a summon. He's in this like Cookie Kingdom game, whatever the hell that is.
Oh god, yeah, god, that was a weird thing.
Yeah, I even played a couple of RTS games for like 15 minutes before I realized how bored I was with the genre. I don't like RTS. There was a Turtles game and a Power Rangers game. They had the same general aspect, like 3-on-3 battles. It's okay. I just don't like that genre. I'll probably get into it if it's Sonic, like I did with Sonic Chronicles. Like, it's an RPG. It's a very basic RPG. You take Sonic away from it, it's basically it's basic.
Yeah, basic RPG from the people of BioWare, which kind of might that feels like a decade ago when people respected BioWare, but that's another story.
That's when the original team was BioWare, not just hey, lots of new people. All people got kicked out, and therefore, hey, we don't know what the hell we're doing this. Hey, let's announce this game that no one knows what we're doing with.
Yeah, during the EA stage, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, Frontiers Sounds like an open world game. Looking forward to it in later next year, probably around.
I mean,
August.
I want to bring this. Sorry, I was going to say I want to bring this up because one thing that has come out is there's supposed to be somebody online who said they play tested this game. Now, I'm a little bit dubious about this because
always.
Yeah, I'm saying this because I did play tests for Tom Clancy's The Division years ago, and I was pretty much
Oh dear.
one of the things I had to do was I wasn't allowed to say what the game I played, and even the state it was in. And I can promise you, people who think the game was rushed and laggy or not well put together, I promise you, it was in a much more not finished state when I played it all those years ago. So I'm surprised he's managed to sort of weed a little bit of information out. But either way, the big thing is that. Of all people, Sam Procrastinates, another something YouTuber, is kind of did a video, and there's a few little lines here that I can read out just to give out the basis of what he said. So I'm going to start with this one saying how the game looks. He says, "Stunning. It was on a high PC that was outputted to an LCD, but it was very much impressed. There was a problem though. It's got Sonic 06 vibes. To be honest, as in Sonic doesn't fit into the environment he's in at all." The enemies look straight out of something like Breath of the Wild and Dark Souls. It's rather jarring. So we got that type of thing. I mean, again, we're going from the trailer, which is him running through what looks like a realistic forest. So, we can probably get some image out of that.
Yeah. But when I think of if I think of Sonic and the realism, I say it goes as far as Unleashed because the uncanny valley of 06 did not fit the actual themes of what Sonic is.
Point out later on, he was asked about the visual presentation of the game, and he actually just basically used a screenshot of Windy Hill from Unleashed, basically the first level, and it's basically if it's to that level, that sort of detailed real world inspiration, but in a sort of hyper real environment, that could work.
A more fantasy version.
Yeah. That's what I mean by hyperrealism. It's still believable, but it's clearly not the real world.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes, there's that. Another thing was talking about how Sonic looks. This is going to get people's interest. So how does he look? This is probably the best he's looked in about a decade. I'm almost thought that they used the Unleashed model in there for a sec. It definitely isn't the Forces model. I played that garbage many times through its development, and it was much more in line with the older games. He's animated well. He has plenty of his usual idle animation, and he's got the usual modern edge you expect. The CG trailer is accurate to how he'll look. For the Switch version, no idea. So supposedly this is also coming out on the Switch as well. But yeah, I mean, going back to the trailer, we don't get very good visuals. We just see his lower body and a far shot of him out of there. And I do think they may have not redesigned it, but just tweaked it a bit again, as they've done for the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's one thing I always kind of hated about the Forces model. The Forces model, his head quills were shaved down. They were much shorter than they were in Generations.
Yeah,
which is why when I actually played the director's edition mod for Forces, they actually used the Lost World model rather than the Forces model.
Okay.
It just looks better.
Yeah. It's interesting that he mentions how he's animating this game, because I have seen a lot of people, we mentioned this back when Colors Ultimate came out, and the big people getting the cutscene files and have started to, pop them in through Blender or Maya or whatever animation to try and, make it a little better. So again, I'd be interested to see how he animates in this game, because again, I know that's been something a lot of people have been talking about. Oh, the animations aren't as good as they should be, and should be more fluid or more cartoony, whatever. So I'd be surprised to see how this works, and especially given whatever Prime's going with, if they're going to go for a consistent look between game and show.
Yeah, I'm always looking at the cutscenes for Colors Ultimate. It's like, first of all, guys, it is taken from a Wii game. You can't really do much of trying to remaster the model rather than completely retool.
I mean, you still have to use the base. You still have to use the base animation that was used for those cutscenes, whether they were either mocap or keyframed. I mean, they're probably a mixture of both. Still a bit unsure, but it's
always both.
Yeah,
and some of them a bit more exaggerated and more added stuff. And I hate the lip syncing. I always do.
Do you?
It never looks smooth. I'm sorry, animators, but you try and make the lip flaps look smooth. Because you can't just go to one lip going A-E-I-O-U and just kind of go between them and it looks like an abridged version.
Mm.
It's just jarring. I can't help but notice it.
All right. Again, I mean, again, as I've seen people try to do more stuff with the eyes. I've seen one or two people doing a bit more expression with Sonic's brow. That seems to be the big thing people are playing with. So yeah, if they, for whatever
Yeah,
plane,
it was very apparent in Forces, especially when you trying that nod of kind of confusion. It just this one eyelid kind of drops down. It's like, come on.
yeah, I mean that's like that's the typical, kind of like him trying to look sort of what are you doing type of deal.
Yeah, there was more expressions put into Eggman's face than there were of any of the Sonic characters.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Again, it's like we could talk ages about his mustache physics alone, but that's another story. What else? Oh yeah, one other thing is talk about controls. This is something interesting because again, this goes back to the whole like, is this going to be quote unquote an adventure remake or not? So here's the big thing. So as for controls, I'm fairly certain there's very little of the Forces DNA in the game. It doesn't feel anything like that at all. Forces control like garbage. Again, this is the other guy's, comments, not ours. So anyway, and I made sure to tell him that. If he felt very good to control the boost era style. Control seems like something that they've done away with, and it seems to make sense why. The way Sonic functions is something I like to say Unleash, but it's not something that I would work in an exploration open world game. So he's basically saying more like Unleash style, but he also says here you need a full 360-degree control of Sonic, and that's why they've given him here. I wouldn't say it's adventure because honestly I can't remember the last time I played that, but it's definitely not Lost World either. I would put it somewhere in between those in those games. I noticed that Sonic would pick up speed slightly downhill, but I need to play it again to check. He acted appropriately to the terrain that I remember because there are challenges. Is when you need to run on walls. Can't compare how fast he was in the previous games, but it just seemed like the same speed in the cyberspace levels. So effectively, those I guess maybe like those moments from Forces as well.
Mm. Well, I disagree on the controls and Forces. Let's just talk about classic Sonic. But
yeah.
Lost World wasn't greatly controlled either.
I mean, the big thing with Lost World is obviously that if you're just moving around generally, it's meant to be just a very pacey. You have a run button of all things, which is again something they introduced in that game, which is intentionally to try and give more control.
Yeah, it was meant to, but it only worked in that game. You put it in any other games, it's like, what the hell are you doing? I think it was for more control. It was like, I can't help but run into the wall. Well, that's your freaking problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where the parkour was added. Like, here's some more verticality to the level, but there wasn't any verticality to the levels.
I mean, really, most of the time when I did that, I just used to run up the walls. I rarely tried to do the parkouring because that was one thing I didn't like in Lost World. I just thought it didn't really work as well as it should have done.
Yeah, there's two levels that actually required you to have mastered it. It's just like, fuck off.
Yeah,
that's the desert level.
You mean the desert level or the desert level that they do as a joke?
No, the ice level. Frozen Factory. There you go. Frozen Factory, Act 3, I think.
Okay.
Or Act 1, because Act 2 was the freaking casino, and you really need to master the parkour on that level to actually finish it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I played it, but I probably do have deep-seated memories of doing that level many times, getting angry.
I finished the game twice. I think I know what I'm talking about. Humble brag.
Yeah,
no, that's a gloat. That's gloat.
Yeah, but again, it's interesting how he mentions for this. It's like obviously, again, we're just not doing the boost stuff anymore. If this is going to be, as he says,
I called that ages ago. I said they do 2 games, try something else, go back, fuck it up, try something new. Now they went trying something new, fucked it up, went back, fucked it up, trying something new. So I called it. I fucking called this.
Yeah, there are some other bits, again, I'll put a link in for people to watch it, but there are other things talking about like the budget of the game and the scale, particularly how the world is massive. Apparently it's going to be literally the size of Breath of the Wild and Skyrim, effectively. And yeah, it's going to be a huge game, for what, presumably whatever the hell Sega and Sonic Team have been doing. They're putting a lot of time and effort into this, hopefully.
I couldn't give a shit about a budget of a game. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it's difficult to tell exactly what they've done, but they're really pushing the bar with this one. And again, I kind of like the fact that they're at least doing that because one problem we keep going on about is like they have been just relying on the whole remember this but with a twist thing for too long, and it's kind of like, guys, if you keep doing this, we're going to end up hating the things we initially liked about the damn series. So if they are trying to do, really push it again, it's like, do it, man, just fucking do it.
The only time I will actually say in this new game, and if they nick this idea, I expect royalties. Okay.
Yeah,
it's just it took me. Here's the thing: it took me quite a while to get into Breath of the Wild. Like I played it for like an hour or so, and just kind of left it, and I picked it back up maybe a couple of weeks later. Like I got to finish this. Like people say it's really good. What am I missing? And eventually it did click. I mean, a lot of the stuff that people have been doing over the years since it's released, that they're still playing it, still finding new tricks to do. Like being able to actually flip over a Guardian. I did not know you can flip a Guardian. I did not know that. And seeing someone fire an ancient arrow, jump on a shield, trying to do a shield surf, jump on a moblin, and that allowed you to fly like really fast to a point where the game's still loading the freaking map. Follow the arrow and hitting a Guardian in the eye. How in the flying hell did you manage to do that?
Oh god, I mean,
it looks so awesome. I was like, how?
I know. I mean, to be fair, I'll be surprised if the developers knew this, or was this total by a fluke?
Oh, fluke.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if they have a mechanic system like that in the game and people are able to pull it off, I bet they're like thinking, "Do we account for that? I guess not."
No, I doubt it. But when it comes to an open world game, it has to engage you, and it needs to flow. Like Sonic games seem to go to A to B, A to B, A to B, and connect each one unless you got an open world, and it has hub worlds really, and they have to connect, and it has to be somewhat of a direction to where to go next.
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure did not have that. Sonic Adventure, you had to, how about I got this one area near the casino? Oh, there's the cutscene with Amy. I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the hub worlds are particularly, if we're going by Adventure 1 and even Unleashed, it's like effectively they were like separate things. So you have like, you go around, talk to people, and then you get to the next area most of the time. There's maybe a puzzle or two, but effectively they're like separate things. And then you get into the game itself.
Unleashed, they were there. The only downside was collecting the medals.
Yeah. I mean,
06's ones are way too big with nothing to do. So it has to be engaging. It has to open up gradually. You had to say, plunk, there you go, explore. Because that's what I did not like about Sonic Utopia and Sonic and Green Hill Paradise.
Yeah, I was going to bring up like the fan games, because we've seen fans do this before. They have done like this, and people are like, oh, well, they make this. It's like, yeah, but you have to make that still work for like the 700 hour you play the game.
It's like, here you go, you can run, you can jump, you can spin, dash, there you go. It's like, okay, so what are the objectives? What's the main goal in this, other than finding the end?
Yeah.
I mean, there are goal rings in those two fan games, but there's no purpose.
Yeah.
So it has to be a purpose in this game and actually gradually open up to a point. But I was going back to the point I was brought up before, and if use this idea, I was at priorities, is the bonus area, if you get 100% completion, is unlocking South Island to explore. Like the South Island with Green Hill, and it gradually evolves into Marbled and Labyrinth.
Yeah,
and
so effectively...
I see an abandoned scrap brain zone.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be interesting. That would be a fun... I mean, hell, you could put your fan servers into that alone, I would say. That's where you can put it all.
That's why I still stand by Green Hill Adventure 2 as the best unlockable for nostalgia. It's like, hey, it's the 10th anniversary, here's Green Hill, but it's 3D. That's a great unlockable.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, that would be a cool idea. One more cool thing, I'm actually going to ask you this question. So, every time I keep hearing about the idea of, doing an open world Sonic game, and particularly mentioning Breath of the Wild, it's like the thing I always keep thinking is like, you can't just drop Sonic into Breath of the Wild and just assume it to work. But for your case, is there anywhere in the game, any level, any terrain that feels like, this could fit into a Sonic level at all? Is there anything in the game that you've seen at least?
You mean like a biome or a region in Breath of the Wild?
A region, yeah. It's like a region that was like, you can put him in there, you could do platforming tricks or whatever and that stuff.
Not specifically, no.
All right.
The first thing I could think of, I can't remember the name of the mountains. I want to say Akala Mountains or something.
All right.
And you find a shield surfing enthusiast. and you slide down the mountain on the shield.
Mm.
Like that opens up some stuff. Like you could do that, do some snowboarding and shit.
Mm.
But as far as actual platform and exploration, it's no different than what like Skyrim or Fallout.
Mm.
It's like it's majoritively flat. I mean, there are some parts where you need some verticality. That's why Revali's Wind is very helpful.
Mm.
But other than that, not really.
Yeah.
Because it's designed with the aspect of exploration and hand and sword combat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there is some, again, in the video, there is some mention about some combat in the game, but again, you can go check that out. Although, the thing I keep thinking of is like, again, if they're going to design this for Sonic in particular, it's like, you want to make sure, particularly if we're going to have like, you fall down a cliff, you roll into a ball, and it actually gains up speed, physics, because every Sonic fan still goes on about that at times. Again, I want to see that in this game because, again, that's ideal to make this open world work with Sonic.
Yeah, but people are going to abuse the hell out of it.
Oh god, yeah. I mean,
because Green Hill Paradise did that.
Yeah, I'm going to say what you said earlier about Breath of the Wild with the whole guarding thing. I mean, people will be finding weird tricks and whatever to do whatever the hell they want in the game. I mean, they're asking for it if they're going to make that type of game.
Very much.
Yeah. The only other thing is, I will say that, again, go back to the trailer, the whole weird after trailer he gives off. I mean, again, that could be like maybe a fast travel thing in the game. Again, it's in something that if there are other characters and they want to get to another area or head there a bit quicker, like that could be a way of fast traveling to other areas.
I'll be surprised if the red rings are in the game and they're used as currency.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think if anything, if they're going to nick anything from any other game, I mean, how many Ubisoft games have had tower game, go to this tower, unlock this thing, and blah, blah, blah. So again, they're probably going to have a version of that in this.
Well, it's kind of a default at this point.
Yeah.
Again, the whole red ring currency thing, that's another one of my ideas. Please give me money.
I mean, yeah, I mean, hell, before they're just basically used as a quota just to say you completely level. If they're going to have a point now, it's like, put them in here.
Maybe the silver rings will show up as well as some kind of bonus.
Because
they just showed up. There's all of a sudden, here's a silver moon ring. Collect 5 of these in a lot of time. Why? How? When?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just to give the player an aneurysm.
Not for me. Well,
yeah.
After the 6th playthrough.
Yeah. But no, I mean, for what we know of the game, again, what's been confirmed and what is still the rumor, again, I'm interested to see this open world Sonic game because, again, we've seen fans do it. We've seen them try it out. And again, it's now, okay, do the makers of the game going to actually really put their all into it now?
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. And again, as ever, I'm always into this, open-minded as ever, because again, you go into these games not knowing what the hell they're going to do, and that's part of the fun, but it can be the bit of worry. But as ever, at the minute, I'm still intrigued to know what frontiers we'll see next.
We expect your hate for a trailer and an immediate dismissal of the entire game before you even picked up the fucking controller.
Yeah, and we'll go through the Sonic cycle again, because that has to be by law now. Whoever wrote the law, I want to snatch his head in for doing that stuff.
Just give me the marble granite worktop and I'll do the rest.
I'll be there with you.